Good day and welcome to another Paddocks Club video tutorial. Today I'll be discussing the quorum requirements in terms of the Sectional Title Schemes Management Act. The quorum is the minimum number of members of an assembly or society that must be present at any of its meetings to make the proceedings at the meeting valid. Previous Management Rules 57 and 58, contained in Annexure 8 to the regulations made under the Sectional Titles Act, dealt with a quorum requirement for general meetings of the body corporate. These two rules have been combined to form the basis of the new PMR 19, contained in Annexure 1 to the regulations made under the Sectional Title Schemes Management Act. PMR 19 Sub-Rule 1 states that no business can be transacted at a general meeting unless a quorum is present or represented, for example by proxies. The revision of this prescribed management rule includes certain major changes. Previously, the quorum requirement was dependent on the size of the scheme, and there were three categories. For schemes of 10 units or less, there was a quorum if the number of owners holding at least 50% of the votes were present or represented. For schemes of less than 50 but more than 10 units, there was a quorum if the number of owners holding at least 35% of the votes were present or represented. And for schemes with 50 or more units, there was a quorum if the number of owners holding at least 50% of the votes were present or represented. An improvement to the new provision is that it now clearly states that the quorum is calculated on the value of votes and not on the number of votes. PMR 19 Sub-Rule 2 states that a quorum is constituted when a body corporate that has less than 4 primary sections or members, meaning 3 or fewer primary sections or members, then 2/3 of the total value of the votes must be present or represented. In any other scheme, 1/3 of the voting values are required. The reduction of the quorum requirement to 1/3 of the voting values for all but very small schemes has the virtue of simplicity and will make it easier for schemes with between 4 and 50 units to achieve a quorum. However, for schemes with above 50 units, the quorum requirement is effectively increased from 1/5 to 1/3 of the total voting values. Where there are 2 or more members, at least 2 persons must be present to form a quorum, unless all the units are registered in the name of one person. There are 2 categories of vote values that are not taken into account when calculating a quorum. Firstly, the voting values of units registered in the developers' names are not taken into account when calculating the value of votes required to constitute a quorum. The fact that the value of the developers' votes are not taken into account in calculating the quorum is designed to ensure that the developers do not arrange for the body corporate to take important decisions without the presence of a reasonable number of other owners. This provision could cause difficulties in cases where developers choose to retain a substantial number of units in a scheme. Secondly, to establish a quorum and for the purposes of Section 6 of the Sectional Title Schemes Management Act, dealing with general meetings, any section registered in a body corporate's name is not taken into account, and the body corporate is not considered to be a member of itself in terms of PMR 19 Sub-Rule 3. The body corporate cannot have representation rights at its own meetings. This provision effectively suspends the representation rights attached to any unit registered in the name of the body corporate, so that meetings are constituted only on the basis of member representation. The new prescribed management rules also provide for situations where a quorum is not present. PMR 19 Sub-Rule 4 states that if within 30 minutes from the time appointed for a general meeting a quorum is not present, the meeting stands adjourned to the same day in the next week at the same place and time. If on the day to which the meeting is adjourned a quorum is still not present within 30 minutes from the time appointed for the meeting, the members entitled to vote and present in person or by proxy constitute the quorum. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, let's discuss them on the discussion forum.